Okay, welcome everybody to another session of the Bookmap Academy, the coaching and mentoring program we have here at Bookmap. The goal here is to open the mic up for you guys, listen to what you have marked up, or listen to what you have to say about your journaling, and to give feedback, and we'll do that as many times as we can. There's some other things I want to go through here first before we kind of dive in.
Are you sharing your screen, Bruce?
Oh, yeah. Hold on a minute. Okay. There we go. Thank you, Jack. Okay. So the new supply and demand course, just a few housekeeping items or kind of news. This is a new course that we have, supply and demand setups. It is on the Bookmap Learning Center, so go to bookmap.com. It is exclusively on the Learning Center, and it's very easy to get there. Just click on Education up here. That'll take you right to the Learning Center, and here's the course right here. So there's the goal here of this course is to have these 10 supply and demand setups for you that are very simple and like absorption, exhaustion, or if you're a VWAP trader, volume profile trader, or trend lines or flag patterns, etc. How does this work with supply and demand, and what Bookmap is showing in terms of liquidity? Okay, so that's that. And go check it out. Hope you find it helpful. Over on our Discord channel, I think this is probably the last time we'll go over this one, Dan, but get verified over on our Discord. You will need to have a Bookmap registered email. So it's free. All you have to do is go over to bookmap.com and log in here. If you haven't logged in ever before, just sign up right here. Okay, and input your email, and then once you have your email, then you can go through this process here on our Discord channel, and everything is free. So there's no, all we need is your email. That's it. That's all we're asking for. And there's all sorts of resources in our Discord chat room. Also, we're having a beta, like this, for example, is in our Discord chat room. The Market Pulse a beta testing campaign. So if you're interested in getting free access to our beta Market Pulse, a lot of really interesting new features in there for creating kind of synthetic instruments, and also just grouping them into very, very simple layouts, etc. So some really great stuff there. Also,
you should absolutely sign up for the Market Pulse beta test. Like it is one of the greatest tools that you can sign up for and really get into and play around with. I highly recommend using it. So
yeah, thank you, Jack.
Sign up for it.
Yeah, another one too. Now this is only for Bookmap Academy members that already are within the Bookmap Academy or Junior Academy. It's not open to anyone else, but this is what you get as part of the Bookmap Academy, is like free access to the MBO bundle to check it out, see if you like it, and start creating some content off of the stops and icebergs, so we can give you feedback. Maybe it's something that works well for you, maybe it doesn't, but these are the kind of freebies that we offer. And if you already are in the Bookmap Academy or Junior Academy, we will refund or the prorated part of it. So anyway, it's only good until 10 more days or 9 more days, basically. So check it out, go for it, and hope you're interested. Again, this is only for those already in the Bookmap Junior Academy and Bookmap Academy. And then the criteria here, we get all sorts of questions about what is our criteria for the Bookmap Academy and creating the content. There's a quota to meet. Now, all of this can be found on bookmap.com under the More button, and then go to, where is it here? Hold on a minute. Back to bookmap.com. Click on the More button, and Bookmap Academy is right here under Community. So you can click on that, and you can read all about the Academy here. Right? So just to let you know about that. And this is what we're looking for. meeting your quota of just one markup or journal per day. And it has to be of that's the quantity we're looking for, but it has to be quality. Order flow phenomena markups, or your trading setup markups, how you're using the order flow as an edge, and then we can give you feedback on that. Okay, so now these are some of the things that we're looking for in your journaling markups. The market impetus, what's moving that market? Okay, so it might have been like the other day, it might have been advanced GDP, and maybe you're trading that, or maybe it's a key technical level that counts as well. So we're looking for those kind of markups, because like this alone, parts 1, 2, and 3, the higher time frame key level and the time of day, will put you in a much higher probability level. All right, so that's why we won't want to see it marked up on your chart. Right, you might be scalping, whatever it is that you're trading. Still get a feel for this, put this in to your chart. And number 4 here is something we've always been looking for, is your setup checklist. Okay, what you're looking for. So maybe it hits a key level of high liquidity, it transacts, and then you start to see maybe on the bid it transacts, and then maybe it shoots down a little bit more, you get a stop run, then buyers come back in, and then start lifting the offer heavily, and it breaks a structural level, something like this. That's all we're looking for. Kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is within your checklist. So this will build out your playbook. You'll build this out over and over again, put the date, put the time on it, and you'll have you'll see really good progression over time. All right, so anyway, that's that. Let's jump in and start going over some of your content. Let's see, we will start, I think, with let's see, Jack, who do you have here?
I have Trader HE with a couple of bread and butter trades that he likes. Then I have David, who's not here, and I have Mike M.
Okay, let's see, is Mike M in the house?
Nope, I don't see him here, but I do talk to him in the morning.
Okay.
He's part of that kind of group over there, that kind of community talks with John, David, Luke,
Okay.
all those spot gamer guys.
Okay.
So if we want to cover him, we can, or we can grab somebody else.
Yeah, let's maybe we'll hold off. I don't see any of your traders in
Nope.
here, so
Nope, I'm boring today.
let's jump over and let's see. Vinny, you've got Rob, and you've got Malek.
Yes, and I don't see Rob or Malek in here, unfortunately.
Huh. Yeah, kind of thin today. Well, it's a European holiday today.
Oh.
So yeah, it's been really thin over here at Bookmap.
That explains it.
Yeah, the let's see here. And then we've got I think this is David, or this might be Stan. No, it's not Stan, it must be David, right? We got SharkBalu, and we can go over that. No, this is Moby. So I think Shark is in here. Yes. All right, Shark, I'll invite you up to the stage. And we got John in here as well. If John, you want to come on up to the stage as well. And Valet Fan as well. So Valet Fan, if you'd like to come on up to the stage as well. I don't know if we have anything to go over with you, but all right, we'll invite you up as well. All right, so we're going to get a lot of feedback, that's for sure. All right, so let's take a look here. And Shark, this is what you've got here from Moby. Looks like from the 29th here, and yeah, we can open up this one and kick it off here. And Shark, I don't know if I cannot hear you. Right, guys. If you can, please try to arrive with your mics already kind of checked somehow in Discord, so we can kind of expedite the process here a little bit better. There's a lot of kind of back and forth time that we usually experience in the Academy meetings, and that we can really cut that down, I think. Right.
I actually remember the setup style that he looks at here too. He's looking at the that CVD VPI extreme. Once he gets that region, he looks for a nice clean entry, and then he gets his buy volume there. You can see that spike in buy volume. So that's kind of where he sets up his like long entry. And then from there, what he usually looks for is kind of like where market pulse is going to start wigging out, and he'll start seeing that. But he doesn't typically just exit. Like he'll kind of like let it settle into a position and kind of fall back into him. Because he has seen some really good trades that continue on into higher levels of liquidity.
Yeah.
But that's, of course, me knowing SharkBalu, right?
Yeah, that seems to be pretty consistent with Shark, and Shark still can't hear you.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
And trailing.
But it is really strong. What I find interesting, and I'm really glad that he didn't get out. Oh, did that mess up?
So. Yeah, Shark, maybe you try coming back in. See if it helps here. There you are. I think I heard something. No. And trailing your stop. Well, it looks like actually multiple contracts here.
Yeah.
And so getting out a couple up here, and then one runner here.
Yeah. And I really like that because I wouldn't have exited either. When you look at the large amount of buy volume, he gets there at 934, right? There's a good chance that while it could come back in the imbalance on the liquidity, it still could push quite a bit higher. Like we've seen some of these volumes push in some of these lower liquidity environments much, much higher. So I like not exiting there. I like following it kind of aggressively and letting it pull back into you.
There you are, Shark.
I think I got it. Sorry about that, guys.
No problem. Anyway, Jack was just talking about looking for bigger moves on some of these. So I don't know if you wanted to follow up, Jack.
No, I mean that's what I was thinking there. Is I think that it's a very good trail there. I don't think you exit, right? Like you've got two really good profits already. Just let this one kind of run back into you if need be. So, and he ends up almost top ticking it, right? Like he's within a point or two. So it does end up fading, but we've seen these moves go 20, 30 handles before. So I think following it is the play for sure on the runner.
Yeah, it's something I'm trying to learn is to leave a piece open instead of just jump out of the whole thing.
Yeah, so it looks like I don't know, maybe if you take us through a little bit more of your decision making process here, because it looks a lot like you're relying pretty heavily on this CVD and VPI, that market pulse volume pressure imbalance running together.
I do lean on that. It's I mean I've said this before. When those hit, I mean there is 100% of the time a reversal. I mean quite often it's literally only a couple ticks. But once you lean into other confluences, sometimes it's 3 points or 30 points or the rest of the day. But it is a good indication that there is a short-term reversal happening. Just that volume pressure, that flip in buyers versus sellers, price does roll over, even if only for a moment.
Is this, I'm just kind of curious if, I mean, this is rather mechanical in that case. Is this something that you've back tested and maybe you have some data on?
I've been using this since Crash F16 was posting nonstop. And I don't have a statistic on it, but it has become an absolute fundamental of my trade model.
Yeah.
I'm after my supply and demand zone or my key auction reversal on a higher time frame. And once I get there, I'm looking for that 1, 2, 3, and then I'm in my sub chart. I want to see that price change divergence leading into the higher time frame level, and then I'm gonna look for this CVD VPI spike to trigger, and that's pretty much exactly where I want to get in, if possible.
So on your entry, you're real happy with your entry here.
Yeah, that entry. So you could see I missed my initial entry, but seeing that spike into the extreme in the subchart, I just grab that order and pull it into price. Get a little bit of a better entry. And you see where my stop is way down there, Bruce?
Yeah, down here.
Yeah, that's 100% random. As soon as I get that entry order filled, I just reach across the DOM and whack the other side of the price ladder. Just completely random. And then I hover over the flatten button. So if price were to roll over on me and all of a sudden I'm upside down, I'm just gonna mark it out with the flatten button. And then once I go on side and I'm in the money, then I'm gonna take that random protective stop and move it below a previous price pivot.
Okay.
I
And
have used the flatten button often, so I
Yeah,
feel you there.
if it just I'd rather just get out, find a better
Yep.
entry. That random stop is in place. This market's a little wild, so if all of a sudden we get a wild book sweep to the downside there, it's gonna knock me out, or never happens, but if my internet were to go out or something weird like that.
okay. And then talk a little bit about the trade management that you got set up here.
Let me see here. Yeah, so in this case, I was 3 contracts in, and pretty quickly, as soon as I was on side, I just took 2 of them off. That gives me, I don't know, a little 60-ish% more bandwidth on where I would break even if price were to roll over. I don't want to give back too much. So those 2 contracts just buy me some bandwidth on where I'm going to break even, and then I'm just following price up with that last contract, that last stop limit order out.
Got you.
And in this case, it worked out well. You see aggressive buyers come in, push price up. If you look at the footprint chart, you could actually see an area I mapped out prior. It's that little red rectangle, but you could see it on the footprint chart. Yeah, so
Yeah,
to the far left, that I have a high volume, high delta rotation marked out in a red rectangle. It's right below that big
yep.
red arrow. So when I see that high volume in that delta reversal, I'm going to grab the volume at price of that particular rotation and just drag it out and look for price to revisit that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I haven't
where?
seen a volume reversal in a while. It's on the far left, Bruce. 8 a.m. on the chart.
No, I see this.
Yep.
I'm asking or wondering. So where's your entry in
My
here?
entries all the way to the right. You'll see that yellow
Okay,
arrow.
hold on. Got you. Okay.
Yeah, that's the trade right there. That 5-minute rotation. That yellow arrow, just
Okay.
from the bottom of that rotation to the top.
Oh, okay. So you got in here. Is this right?
I got in there.
Ah, okay.
Took
And
two out.
then took it
Took
to here.
took
Okay.
two off. Took two
Gotcha.
off in the middle, and you see, I took it off. What I'm calling an access trigger is where price revisits that high volume node from that previous high volume rotation.
From your reversal pattern,
Yeah, and you'll
the delta
notice
reversal
price.
pattern.
Yeah, and you'll notice price rolls over right at that level.
Yeah. 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 Nice. Okay. So, okay. I mean, yeah, just, I don't know. I mean, I just, I'll pass it on here to others. But to me, though, like, I know you've been doing this for a long time now, the CVD and VPI. Um, it just, I mean, it just would, I'm just looking for it. I'm looking for high liquidity get filled in here. I'm looking for these buyers to come in, and then to me, from just my personal standpoint, this looks dangerous. That okay, a little bit of buying here. I see selling. I would look for sellers to take it down here. Now, okay, we don't have much data here to look at on the left. But I just see it kind of trending down. I see the selling coming in. I see a little bit of a pullback, and then I see selling again. Looks like it wants to go down. But
Can you scroll to the right side of that same chart, Bruce?
to the right side. Okay, here.
Yeah, scroll to the right side.
Okay.
So look at the two levels I have tagged supply. So those are my higher time frame levels.
Okay.
Right? So we have price rotating all the way from demand all the way back up to supply on the, don't go to the other screen yet, but that's what I have marked, the liquidity bucket. But price, price rotates up there, pulls back down, pulls back into that lower supply zone. So you've heard me use the term kill zone before. So right there, I see that as fair value, price buyers and sellers are transacting inside that supply kill zone.
Okay. So your entry is probably
So,
right around here, right?
yeah, that's where exactly.
Okay. And then your exit is probably right around here.
Yeah, price is rotating up and down
Okay.
inside that liquidity bucket or kill zone. I used some random terms, but I'm confident enough that prices, when I see that CVD VPI extreme pullback, I'm confident enough to take a position. And if I'm offside, I'm just going to get out. But I feel that's a higher probability area for me to get in for that small move back to the top. Now, a great trade would have been to flip my bias up at the top at that higher supply zone and take that back down. But I have a really hard time flipping my bias long short or short long. I need to work on that.
Okay.
Once I'm looking one direction, I'm kind of stuck in there.
To be fair, in the footprint, I don't see anything there that would signal me to flip short before it dumps, because it just dumps, right? It reaches your target
Yeah,
essentially, which is
it
that
just
node,
rolls
and then it
over.
just, yeah. There's nothing I see there that would have alerted me to anything there, but yeah, obviously, if you're short in that move, it would be good. As far as your entry long, I actually really like your entry long. You see the volume switch in Bookmap pretty consistently there on the left hand side, so it matches up there. And what you're looking for in the footprint also, like it matches what I would expect, right? Once you get that kind of reversal setup, you're looking for kind of a quick long to kind of get to where your point is, and then from there you're not real sure, right? Because you're at your reversal, you're at your peak where the decision hasn't been made essentially. So it makes
Right.
sense.
Can you
I
flip
don't really
back to
have
the
any
footprint
problems with
real
it.
quick, Bruce?
Sorry.
To what?
Can you flip back to the footprint
Sure.
real quick? You see the two big red arrows, one on the left and one on the right?
This and this, or
Yeah.
this and
Or yeah. So, you could, the one on the left, obviously, you see coming in, that's that high volume rotation. But that area in there, after the fact, after I've taken my little bite out of that price action, you see price at that second arrow is basically the opposite. It's another high volume rotation and just dumps back down to that previous level where we started out in the first place.
Okay.
So my wider lens there is this is kind of fair value. Buyers and sellers are happy with this. They're responding to that level by exchanging transactions, and I just want to get in on a piece of that and take it one direction to the other.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, actually, kind of for me, it opens up a lot of questions that I don't want to get into too much because we got some really good coaches here to give us a lot of feedback. But just if this is more mechanical like this, then wouldn't you be shorting up here? And then if that is the case, then where would you be shorting? Not just covering, but reversing.
No, that would have been a great place to just reverse that position, or maybe I'm long 3 contracts. Maybe I could have just put an order for 6, a sell order for 6 in there, and drug that up below price and knocked it out in that same place where I covered. But like I said, my brain gets stuck in one direction, which is typically short, not long. But I need to practice reversing my bias, because that would have been a great place to take it the other direction. I mean, price kind of bases at that supply zone for 3 minutes or whatever, but that would have been a really nice move down.
Yeah. I mean, you're the expert on this system, or at least the two indicators kind of overlapping, because you see it again here, right? And that would have been your exit on the way down, I would imagine, I guess.
Yeah,
Something like
yeah,
that.
it would have been great. Get in, take the ride up,
So
get short, take the ride down, and just ping pong it back and forth.
yeah, it would have taken you right back down to your entry, in fact.
Yeah.
So Jack, I don't know, do you have anything more to go over, Jack? Hello, Jack.
Sorry, I was muted. No, I don't have anything more on this one. I think that we've pretty much covered it. I think that there's a lot of overlapping opportunities here. Like Nolik said in the Academy chat here, right? Like he looks at this chart and he sees a different pattern, right? And that's something that I see. I see like a really strong bullish opportunity there. So like it makes sense to me, like with Shark's trade. And I think that that's what's really interesting about kind of like going over these trades, are that somebody might utilize or look at a specific thing, like SharkBalu calls it like a kill zone or something, but we might have a different term in our head, right? And now we can reconcile those concepts, and basically like by looking at these things, we can just gain more experience, right? So I think this is really great overall.
That's awesome, Jack. I think one of the best things about the Academy and seeing everybody in here is, we all view the market through our own lens, but we're all looking at the same thing, right? And some of us are on a fractal higher or a fractal lower, and it's pretty great to see and hear other people's perspective. I mean, that's where every single thing that I use, I learned from someone else. I learned from Carmine. I learned from Vinny. I learned from Crash. I learned from Brannigan. Every single thing I use, I took from someone else and just gathered the spare parts and shoved them together into the trade model that I'm building.
Yeah, if you do your journal right, and you contextually do that, you can pull this image up 6 months from now and we can talk about it. And if we compared the videos, we'd probably compare the exact same things in our discussion, right? And that's the part of the review process. That's why we make the content here. It's to better ourselves in those aspects. And it makes it easier for us to share within communities. So, and that's one of the most important parts. So definitely agree.
Yeah, Vinny,
So that's all I had, Bruce.
Okay, all right. Vinny, what do you got?
Yes, this is Vinny. Okay. Thank you very much. That was a great analysis by Jack and SharkBalu. And I did have just a couple of things just to add real quick. I actually brought up I see your I see your time scale is in per minute. So I wanted to see what it was beforehand, because I just had a couple of questions, and when I looked at when I brought it up on another screen beforehand, prior to 9 o'clock that you have, that's located on your right part of the screen, which is supply and demand. You don't go back as far, but if you did, I see a wedge that was forming. All right, I think that's something that Bruce covers in his new video section. So it looks like to me I saw a wedge forming of some higher lows, and then I saw a breakout right about 9 o'clock. And so, but you don't have it on this screen, but that wedge broke out higher and reached a high, and I don't quite see where you would enter this long anywhere other than that break that occurred back at 9 o'clock, because what I see developing here is a lower high, and what you have is a really good, I didn't see your 1, 2, 3 typically that you really set up. So I picked this up on your supply and demand zone, which looks great. And I might have taken this short. And the reason why I would have taken this trade short is because it hit your supply zone. You had a breakout down, and then you had your pullback. So I thought this might be a very good opportunity to actually short this thing, because you had your target in your demand zone. Now, I don't see any liquid here, for it to target lower, but you had your demand zone. So when I look at this, I see 2 trades here. Prior to your trade, you could have taken it long up to 55.76, and you could have taken this short that was mentioned earlier with that breakout from supply zone down and the pullback, which would be a great entry, and then you can take it all the way right down to your demand zone. So that was something that I saw. I didn't see your checklist on here as well, and you're typically really good at that, but you probably had so much going on that you couldn't. But I like the way you use your subchart as well, and that's just kind of my feedback. I hope that provides some insight.
No, that's fantastic, Vinny. I see exactly what you're talking about over on my tick chart on the right. You see price break out of demand. It rejects supply in that 67-ish area back towards demand, and then rolls back over, and then we kind of have that over under resistance to support pattern, right, where we're moving into what I'm calling the supply kill zone, right? So we're rejecting supply, revisiting it, and then breaking up into supply, where we reject that higher level and then kind of base inside that kill zone, which is where I love trading consolidation.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah, you had it here perfect on the right-hand side, and I wouldn't have really been able to notice it unless you had your chart on the right. And so that's what really kind of alerted me to this trade potential here for taking this short. And I don't know what that would have netted. It looks like it would have netted, 10 points or 20 points or so. So that's kind of what my visual when I saw this right off the top. Well, I had to go a little bit deeper into it, but I hope that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. And as I've mentioned a million times, I always want that bigger move. I want that sweep all the way from demand to supply and supply to demand. But in this current market, I've kind of become very comfortable just taking my bites out of these rotations inside the kill zone or inside the liquidity bucket, or when I'm looking at that point to point, right, that auction point to the next auction point, based on just those volume rotations. I want to get in and get out and find the next better entry. And it kind of seems like the market's starting to stabilize. Yesterday was just, or the day before yesterday was just as perfect as price action could be for me. And then, yesterday we had some of them wild pops up and down. But I think the market is starting to price in whatever the hell is going on in this world right now.
Yeah, I think as far as a scalp move that you made on this, that was, a precise timing and a precise exit. So, bravo to you by using the 1 minute scale to be able to identify that quick scalp and jump up and to profit. So, yeah, so good going and fine tuning your skills.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate the feedback very much.
Okay. John, I don't know if you have any comments you'd like to add. If you're there. Yeah, cannot hear you. Or Valet Fan, I don't know if there's something in there that kind of piqued your interest you wanted to comment on.
Can you hear me?
Well, this looks like a cam trade almost. I didn't trade on the 29th, but I wonder if that was an R3 cam or something there. That looks like some exhaustion, buying exhaustion going in and then hitting a seller again and kind of reversing and fading off of that. Kind of like a trade I would take. So I'm curious if that may have been near a cam that I would have traded.
Okay, yeah, and I don't think Shark looks at those, but
At one point, I actually not too long ago, I forget who it was. It was one of the bear bull guys. I got his book and I printed some charts out of it, and I kind of just wanted to find an indicator to throw those things up and see how they lined up with the supply and demand zones that I manually chart. But I never found the indicator I was after.
Was it Thor's book? Thor
It
Young?
was Thor's book. It was Thor's book. Fantastic book.
Oh yeah,
I got
that's
it
my mentor.
after he did his live with us here at Bookmap.
Hmm?
I immediately bought his book, went through it a couple times, printed out the charts, and I popped around looking for an indicator, and maybe I'll go back in and look for it again. I just wanted to see how those zones that he talks about in his book line up with the supply and demands and key option reversal stuff that I chart manually.
It is basically trading supply and demand. That's essentially what it is. It's just lining kind of everything up. It's just more confluence within everything. But yeah, it's essentially supply and demand as well.
And he
And what you're looking for.
mentioned
I
that
can help you out.
that system was designed specifically for the S&P, which is it's what I trade. It's what I've grown to know very well. So that's kind of why I wanted to check them out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more than happy to help you with it too. I mean, I've
All right,
been
maybe
doing
I'll
it for a
reach
while
out.
now. I'm a mentor in his community too, and I'm actually going Sunday to his house to stay for about a week, and we're going to start working on a couple projects together actually.
Oh,
So yeah,
nice.
I'm more than happy to jump on with you and probably bring him on since he'll be right next to me if you wanted to chat with him and talk to him about some stuff.
Okay, will do.
all
Awesome.
right. John, I think your mic is. I thought I heard you there.
Okay. You can hear me okay
Hey,
now?
there you are.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Hey, John.
Yeah, hi, Shark. Nicely done. And I can see why you took the long trade, more of a consolidation effort. I generally hesitate trading up into an area that's failed. I see the short here. And and when Jack said there was no reason for a short, I was like, oh gosh, I have to go now. It's just where you said responsive buyers are done at Stack Supply. I think that was the warning for the short, and then just a couple of bars over from there, you had a big volume bar to the downside, and I think that would have been the entry. Now, in general, what you have on the sub chart, I just really haven't worked with those all that much. But in general, I don't like oversold and overbought conditions because there's nothing that says it can't stay oversold or stay overbought. But I see what you're doing here, and if it works for you, I don't want to I don't want to say anything more than that. But what I see very clearly on your chart to the right is you have it very nicely marked as supply. Prices went up there, they came back, they failed to take it higher, so you have a lower high, and then you see that consolidation area where you have marked, and then you have a pretty high volume right to the between 938, that sell bar there that I think that would have been place that I would have been comfortable trading in here to the short side. And everything on your sub chart is moving to the downside after failing at supply. That's how I see it.
Yeah, no, in hindsight, that's a textbook, what I call the Monte Cristo, right? That's that
Ah,
textbook, 1, 2, 3 into supply. Price rejects it, goes right
okay.
back, rejects it again, and then flushes all the way back to demand.
Okay.
I
I
mean,
was I
that's
was
what
afraid. I wasn't.
that's
I
what
was
I
afraid I wasn't seeing it the way that you were. But that's
no,
how I see it. I would have
yeah,
been
that's
hesitant on the long because of the failure at supply, and because I'm not about the sub chart. But I think the short would have been brilliant without looking at hindsight. And I don't know how far it goes, how far down it goes. I just see there getting short with very limited risk to the upside. You could mark your stop right over top of your entry, and it's either going to work or it's not. But you have volume coming into the market to the sell side, and that's what I like to jump on.
that being said, John, perhaps this is a good trade for me to replay. This was live market, and like I said, I had that reaching up to that upper supply, stuck in
Yeah,
my bias. But
yeah.
I definitely need to practice flipping that bias. So possibly a good replay for me. Take the same trade long and then execute it to the short side.
Mhm. And you had good reason to have a bias to the upside. It was exploding up, but then it stopped and it made a lower high at your marked supply. Yeah, that would cause me to be interested in that area, right where Bruce is marking. Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah, and those wicks on
Those
that tick
wicks.
chart
Yep.
do tell a story.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yeah. Phew, I feel better. I'm glad I see it though. Yeah,
Yeah, Shark.
Fantastic. Thank you, John.
One thing like
sure.
that John is just mentioning. I just wanted to highlight something that we just talked about before jumping into your chart. Is you marked up your levels, your higher time frame levels. This is great. Uh, and because like it's just so much more probable. I mean, what you're looking for at your key levels. And then that this is time of day as well. I mean, this is are you West Coast time?
I'm West Coast, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is 12 15 or so East Coast time, or is that right? Or do you have your
Yeah, yeah, 3 hours.
okay. All right. So this is in the afternoon, East Coast time. So the market's been open a little less than 3 hours. Okay, understood. Okay. Yeah. No, I've just I want to try to like Vinny had said, like usually you have a checklist or whatever, but just trying to hammer home some of those ideas again on marking up your charts. Not so much. I mean, you've been in here for a long time. It's for others. So your higher time frame impetus, your higher time frame levels, and then looking at time of day, and then your setup checklist. If we can, I really believe that if we can do those things, the probabilities of having a winner is just going to be much higher over and over
Yeah, I
again.
need to add this point to point scalp to my two trade menu, to my two trade model. I need to add this little scalp in there and give it its own checklist, because right now I'm kind of just using pieces of my larger checklist, my
Yeah,
my my Monte Cristo.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. I mean, it'll help clarify things for you clearly. So, um, you know, as you said, you kind of Frankenstein bits and pieces from everywhere. We all do
Yeah,
that. I mean,
absolutely.
singer-songwriters, movie directors, it doesn't matter. Like, you're influenced by many other people and what's been done before. Yeah, Shark, let's move on. I think John, we'll move on to you. Moby covered some of your trades in here.
Oh, I see.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Shark. Day in and day out, Shark. Thank you. Great stuff. Week in and week out. All right, so let's see. I don't know, John. Why don't you you can kind of see them here. This was on the 30th, and this one's on the 29th here. And is there, which one would you like to go over? We got another one
First
here.
one up there.
First one?
Either way, they're
Okay.
they're,
Do you
they're
want
gonna be
to?
very similar.
Sure. We want to start here.
Yeah,
Okay.
that sets it up.
Okay.
Okay, so this is real early in the morning, starting off at 3 a.m. the London Open, and this is the hero chart, and this is showing a progression since 3 a.m. in the morning. I didn't take the trade until 6, but you can see for the first 3 hours since the London Open, the influence of the options have clearly been to the downside. Now, and that's illustrated by the teal line, the green line. The market is showing in white, and that really hasn't responded as yet. And lots of times what I see is that Hero is not going to run tick for tick with the option hedgers because they have a tolerance. If you and I bought a 10 lot or sold a 10 lot, that's not really going to make them do anything. But if 1,000 people come in behind us and do the same thing, well, then that imposes their risk, and that's when they have to take an action. And when the market starts to turn south, that's when you really see them start to jump on it. But until that market moves, they're really not going to do much. And so that's not a big surprise that Hero was going down because it is showing activity. And I didn't split this up. They're either selling calls or buying puts or a combination of the two. But there is an influence clearly to the downside. And you see where I made a little consolidation rectangle about where it flattened out. And that was just at the time it started to break to the downside. And that's when I go to order flow. So Hero kind of gives me the overall picture. And you were talking about, looking at it from a larger time frame. This is doing that. This is looking at it 3 hours before I actually took the trade to see the option flow, the net option flow. So if we can go to the next chart.
I have a lot of questions for you on that. But let's continue on.
Okay. So this is looking at the larger time frame through a high liquidity lens. What I'm showing here using TraderMap Pro are order sizes greater than 49. So I want to see the 50 lots. I want to see the liquidity based upon the 50 lots or greater. And so you can see where I have it mapped out. You have liquidity at number 1, and then you have some demand liquidity below, which represents my target. And you have VWAP below. So you have that. My bias is to the downside, kind of like what Shark was saying. He starts with a bias. Well, mine is based upon option flow. My bias is to the downside. I'm looking. Okay, so now we have that big fat dot there that my arrow lines are being generated from, and the market did nothing there, didn't respond. It just fell flat. And so that's when I go to a little bit more detail in the next chart and really try to zone in on my entry. But this shows the origin of my trade, and then it shows VWAP for my first target, and then liquidity below at demand that will represent my target. And there's actually an important spot gamma level down there, 0 gamma. All right. So if we can go to the next.
So this one here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that and the market recognizes that that's important because the liquidity's there and sizable liquidity's there. Right. So it's a way in which Bookmap confirms what I'm getting from spot gamma. That's how the two work together for me.
Got you.
All right. Go to the next chart. All right. So again, I mark the areas as I always do. I mark where VWAP is. And what I was just discussing there at number 4, where those large volume of buyers came in, the market did nothing. All right. Now, the only problem here is that liquidity stayed in the market, but it traded below it. We went to the downs. As soon as those buyers failed, I got short. I considered that a failure, and I sold out the bottom of it. All right. My stop goes just above that liquidity that's there, so I'm hiding behind that fence. And I get down to my first target, which is the last area low. Then my next target's going to be VWAP. And then if we get through that, we're going to go down to that exit target, which is the same level as that, the one from the previous chart. So there's lots of buyers. There's lots of liquidity down there. Sorry. And it was very nice. The market went right down to it and hit it right towards that liquidity, just the way I planned it. But so you have a confluence of levels, you have a confluence of liquidity. The market just trended down from there. It was a nice pop. And I think what happened there is, you have some hedging activity. As soon as that market starts to run south, those option guys have to get covered, even if it's in the middle of the night. They're going to get covered. They're going to help push that, and that's what I was looking for, and that's what I was trading behind.
So this move here, you believe that's them dumping?
I don't know. Something's got to give, with all those options coming down. And we see that a lot. We see hero move, and then all of a sudden the S&P just pops 20 handles. And many people believe, and including Brent, Scott has mentioned it in his webinars, that's what's going on.
Yeah.
That there's a little bit of a tolerance and acceptance before the hedgers go, oh damn, we better get covered here. We're going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
And so it could very well be. There's no way of knowing. What I do know is that liquidity marked the spot in Bookmap after the trade was set up from Hero.
Yeah. Oh God, it's beautiful again, John. Really, really great stuff. And your annotation is also extremely clean and clear and quite detailed on all 3 charts here, especially this one. What I really like so much the mixture of your higher time frame with liquidity in Bookmap. It's that combination. It's a beautiful combination, and this is what you're looking for on your higher time frames, and this is what you're confirming on your lower time or in your order flow in Bookmap. And that's really, really great to see. Let me just I'll try to pass it over quickly. We spent quite a bit of time on the first couple of images. This one though, like how do you know? I mean, the divergence is clear as day, but when do you get involved? How do you know when to get in? I mean, yeah, of course you can look at the order flow, you can look at liquidity, you can look at Bookmap, but like why this little area in here is so important? Because like you can see, I would be, to be honest, like I would be kind of looking at something to break in here, and I don't know where it is. Maybe it's up in here, or some level, or maybe it's a double top, double top up in here, and maybe it's the break here. But some technical level, something to give or break to go along with the teal line, which is your options. And how do you kind of put that together?
Well, we're essentially marking the same spot, right? I mean, you just drew a diagonal trend line, and that comes in exactly where I was looking to get short. I don't use that tool per se, but if you look at the second chart there, if you go down one, if you look to the left, just starting at the very origin of my chart, at 5 a.m., where are you going to get short in there?
Yeah, and that's true. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
so
hard.
we're-
It's hard to see.
It's hard to see, but you can see from the other chart though that it was just making a progression to the upside. And that's what was so nice about Hero. I'm like, oh, this is something's got to give here.
Yeah.
And Hero dropped pretty significant. So, you use a trend line. I just wait for an order flow event. Again, it's going to be about in the same area. But to answer your question, this was the first time we make a little double top up there, but we come down and it was that big volume dot. And if you can see the volume bar at the bottom, it really sets a perspective. That's a failure. So it started to turn down and they tried to push it up. They failed. And I went, aha.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put my stop behind that liquidity.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe they would go up there and tag that 78. And I expected, a little bit of horsing around. If this was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you'd probably get a little bit more noise in there. But it's, pre-market, which is nice about pre-market. And so I think we're talking about the same thing. Again, I just key off that order flow as my trigger that said, markets turned down for the first time, really, and they failed to push it up. Those two things right there said, okay, I want to tag this.
Yeah. So,
Especially with liquidity below.
yeah.
Because above number one, there wasn't any liquidity up there. Nobody was interested.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's great. I mean, so like you're maybe we should even add that into our list, like, looking for that order flow event. So like maybe it's a stop run, maybe it's a sweep, maybe it's a massive absorption, like in this case, and it didn't go anywhere.
Right.
So something like that. That makes really, really good sense. I mean, I'm going over, I think, in trying to answer maybe other people's questions about reading some of these things. Is like maybe if you're a really aggressive scalper or something like that, you would see this, and you'd soon as like kind of broke that, or like maybe it's maybe you see an order flow event up here, and then you would be going short. I don't know. So I mean, actually, it would have been a good winner actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, just trying to make a distinction between, because I think the reading correlated charts can be really tricky. I mean, I love them and I'm fascinated by them, but a lot of times you're like, okay, this is it, and it just isn't. It just keeps it. Maybe there's divergence, but the price continues to go up, and it becomes even more divergent over time, and then you're like, oh my God, something, it's got to give, and then you're already in, and you're feeling a lot of heat. So that's what I think the direction of my question I was trying to get to.
Yeah.
How do you avoid that?
When you're right, that would have been aggressive, and it would have been a nice from an order flow, but it wouldn't have been a great trade because you would have had to sweat that going back up.
Yeah.
So at the time that I started looking hard to get short was after we put in a lower high, or I'm sorry, a lower low, right? And that was over. I can't see the time. Can you move your mouse over to?
On a minute, I can.
4:30.
So 3:30.
You see where the price line
Right in here
right
somewhere.
over to the right, a little over to the right, just a little bit. See
Oh,
that
yeah.
low there on the price, the white line. It's the first time you make a lower high there,
Okay.
and that's when I thought, okay,
Got you.
okay, we're weakening here,
Yeah.
and yeah, there you go.
Got you.
That's it. That's it. And then I'm looking for But it takes, with divergence charts, it takes an eye. You have to look at it. I've been looking at these charts now ever since they came out with it, ever since they had it on Bookmap, actually. Now it's separate on their own charting system,
Right.
and it's fast, and they do a lot of number crunching. They're constantly working on the models, and they constantly get better. But it does require, an eye for it. But I need to see something from the overall chart, and that was the marker right there when we made that little lower high in there. I saw weakening.
Got
Um,
you. Got you. Okay.
that's
So do you ever look at, and sorry to coaches to dominate here, but like um, correlations can offer just such great opportunities, amazing opportunities. And I'm wondering, do you ever, you look at this and just go, oh my God, like this is really divergent. Look at the, I haven't seen a divergence this big in a long time. And then, so now at a certain point, you're just kind of waiting and watching, or is there something more? Or do you not go over something like this? It's really the structure. It's divergent, and it maybe it continues to be more divergent, but you had mentioned you're looking at structure now, and it's this lower high here. It's not really this in here necessarily. It being more divergent.
Yeah, the divergence, Bruce, is that you made just a little lower high on price, but if you look to the scale on the right and you look at the hero value, you went from 10 million down to minus 70 million. You dropped 80 million bucks, and the market didn't do anything yet. That's what I'm talking about, how the market responds. There's a certain tolerance, but when it hits the fan, it drops pretty hard, and that's what I trade for. So that's really the takeaway there. That thing dropped that far pretty fast, and the market didn't respond yet. And so I'm looking for that yet.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
So Vinny, let me turn it over to you. I've taken too much of everyone's time here.
Bruce, you're the king of this. So you ask all the right questions. So I hope I can follow up. And just add some more value to what you had to say. And if you don't mind going down to where his liquidity chart is, so we can bypass the hero. John knows the hero chart very well. He's a hero of our group. And yeah, this is a trade. There's a few things here which I think is just totally awesome, because it almost looks like a little bit of a book flip here, because you can see where your liquidity came in at the 78 level, and that's exactly what John mentioned. And this is actually a setup that I actually kind of look forward to. Quite frankly, I believe I took this trade as well. Yeah, right there. So this is really perfect. And prior to that, where your high is at 55.80, on my charts I actually drew a demand zone up there. So this is a really perfect example, and we don't have this going back further. But yeah, what happened was this actually went down from the demand zone and pulled back right on up. So that could almost be a really perfect entry right at the 80 level, if looking at demand and supply zone. So yeah, so that could have been an entry which I believe I did enter in, but nevertheless, this setup is really iconic, because you have, just like John mentioned, you have your 78 level right there, and he just took it all the way down right to the liquidity. It actually went down even lower than this. But yeah, John used the liquidity. It's just terrific the way he did. I see he's on the 15-minute time scale. I would have liked to have seen that 5-minute time scale maybe, so I can see exactly where he entered right next to that liquidity. But otherwise, there's really nothing more to say. John's very mechanical. His checklist is outstanding. It's just terrific. If I were to say ask for anything, would be to John, you have these charts week after week, first target, second target, third target, and I'll tell you something, they work out to a T. I guess on a side note, I almost would like to see an example of your trade management when it hits the first target, but it doesn't go through to the second and third target. None of our trade, some of our trades, we're not perfect, and a lot of our trades aren't some of our trades aren't successful. So that would be one aspect that I like to see an example of how you managed your trade management if when it hits the first target, but it doesn't go back to the second target. But otherwise, yeah, outstanding setup, outstanding follow through, outstanding checklist. Bravo. Back
Okay.
to you, Bruce.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't know, any follow-up comments, John?
Um, well, as far as the trade management on this one, once I get the first target, then I start to move the stop. And I do let the trade work. Now, on this one, it went my way, pretty nice. A lot of the times, because I'm trading behind a burst of volume, either a failure like this, I mean, that's a significant event, that you have a lot of volume that comes in, almost the largest volume bar on the chart at the bottom. Um, and so usually there's a response to that. And a lot of times I'll get to the next level, and then it's just a matter of following my stop. But yeah, I'll find one. I mean, I had a couple of trades today. I didn't get stopped out, so but it does happen on occasion. But I can get to that first target a lot of the times because I'm trading off of an order flow event. Now, at this time of the night, Bookmap didn't detect it, but I'm sure there were some stops in there that were hit. Um, or perhaps sweeps. I keep my tolerance pretty high, so I don't mark out um, lot sizes of 25 that are swept in the book. I don't care about those. I have mine set beyond 200. I want to see when the big boys come in and sweep the book. And same thing with there could have been some icebergs in there, but unless they're sizable, I'm really not interested in that. I don't follow the 10 lot guys and the 15 lot guys running icebergs. That's a sneeze. But the 250 lot icebergs, yes, I want to know where they are. But yeah, I'll find one. It'll happen, and when it does, I'll show it. But uh, typically, though, behind an order flow event, I can get that first few handles off, 4 or 5
Yeah,
handles.
your skills are outstanding, and so I mean, I like to learn something as well with your trade management. So yeah,
Sure.
keep going what you're doing. I mean, you're doing great. You're a
But
hero.
the thing is with that, it really does go back. I mean, it's order flow. It's all order flow where I mark my spots. But we did have an influence of Hero, and this is right where Hero was really starting to drop off. So they were adding to. If they were buying puts or they were selling calls, they were adding, and it was going down. So I had a little momentum going from the flow, and that helps a lot in my trading. There's no question about it. It's just another dimension that helps me. So yeah.
It, it's interesting. I just one more follow-up for you, John, and then maybe see if Valley fan has any comments. But just kind of curious now that you've mentioned this. I think it was last time. This move here. Now I'm really looking for it, and I'm really kind of wondering about like, hmm, you know. And I mean, this is really a big push here, and they're just selling, 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 and uh, and this is market orders here. Uh,
Oh,
this,
it's all on the bid. Oh, and they're just
yeah,
nailing it.
they're just hitting it
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
So like maybe if you you said you don't know, but run us through like what you think, or you've heard Brent talk about it, but like yeah, what do you think is going on here?
Okay, so it's 6:30 in the morning, right? Go back up to the Hero chart. And let's look at it at 6:30. What Hero was doing.
Okay.
Hello. See it?
Yeah.
There you go. Pretty strong correlation there. I think that answers your question, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Anything else, Bruce? That's what I was saying. I'm like, I'm home free here.
but do you think this is the end of it though?
I don't know if it's the end. It did, like Vinny said, it popped up off of liquidity, and then it did eventually, it did turn down from there. My trade was ended um, when we hit a level, when we hit a key level, and when we hit liquidity. Those two things. Plus, I made a nice trade. I mean, that's enough for me. I mean, for the purpose of my trade, that's a pretty strong correlation of what's going on there.
Okay.
I can't remember for sure, but I do believe that they were buying puts.
Right.
This is showing a total. This is generally what I look at, but that was a pretty sharp move. It already came down 80 million, and then it just jumped down again. From 80 down to 120, another 40 million.
Yeah. 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 That's huge.
And that's going to put hedging pressure on. Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were selling on the bid.
So
Get out of my way.
I'm just wondering, like, you saw the divergence,
Yeah.
and then this seems like maybe the follow through, finally.
Yeah.
But I mean, here, okay, so yeah, okay, the chart moved down a little bit price wise here, but this is a pretty big, move here as well. And then we see this, pretty big move of price of the S&P up, but Hero is still,
Yeah.
lower. Here's
Yeah.
another Hero spike here to the downside, and another one here.
Yeah.
But it's not moving.
Yeah.
So
And that's what I was speaking about. Then that tolerance. They're not going to match up every trade that we do. They have a tolerance. They have a window. They have their risk model, but you can see where their risk model was violated.
yeah, yeah,
And that's what I'm looking for.
yeah. It makes
risk.
sense. I mean, like this is where, like, I've just, years ago, like, trading correlations. It's like, yeah, I got it. It does this, does that. Yeah, I got it. But then, like, you get these big kind of, like, divergences, and it just keeps grinding and grinding and grinding. And you're like, oh my God, like, this is outside what anything I've seen and studied in the, recent past. And it can really hurt you, and stop you out. And then something does follow through, unless it was a fundamental event and something is flipped, and that correlation is now different. But so in this case here, like, yeah, you've detailed it all out, what you're looking for, etc.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been an event, but one thing is for sure, they were buying puts or they were selling calls.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's going to pull that market down. I think the part though that you might be a little hung up on is I don't really like, in this context, in this instance, I don't use the word divergence, because they're two different systems here, right? You have prices on the futures, and then you have information coming in from a whole different exchange, right? So with divergence, you're generally looking for, whether it's comparing an RSI or a moving average or something like that, where you're looking at comparing price action. It's divergence for sure, but you're measuring two different things, two different
I agree. You're right.
systems of data. And so I think that's, where you might need to disconnect a little bit and say, I'm looking at two different things here. And not try to, kind of pigeonhole yourself into thinking about divergence and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where a lot of people get disappointed with Hero. They say, oh, this is shit, it's gone one way. What am I going to do with this? But
Right.
you look at it long enough and you say, okay, there's a little bit of tolerance here, but when it hits, they're going to correct to it, or they're going to lose.
Yeah. No, it's great stuff. And what I'm kind of driving at is, trying to understand the order flow better,
Okay.
because these kinds of events, like, we're maybe it's here, or maybe it's even they're kicking off a little bit here as well. You
Sure.
know, but are they, or what exactly is kind of going on? What are some of the you know what's the impetus behind some of these moves? Yeah, I'm just trying to, because once I think you're probably getting to the point where you're looking for that move.
I'm looking for it, Bruce.
Yeah. Uh,
If there's an edge, that's it. Because you can see along here with this progression to the downside, you know, buyers tried and they failed,
yeah.
right? Buyers tried when I got short. Um, Buyers tried, just below the number one. They tried to hit that liquidity up there. They failed. And absolutely.
Yeah.
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 Um, so,
So you're looking for this kind of capitulation, or um, um, because you see you're so used to this kind of order flow,
mhm.
and you see these big moves, and then like that's exactly when, like, I mean, this is picture perfect. It's right on cue. That's your event.
Yeah.
Now you're looking for just underneath it,
Yeah.
getting in, and you got your targets.
Yeah.
And then what I imagine that now you're kind of looking for, okay, is this going to unfold? And with that, like you said, like how many millions of dollars, 80-70 million dollars, it's likely going to unfold.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. I mean, it wasn't a surprise.
Yeah, yeah,
When I saw Hero drop like that, I was like, okay, I'm in good shape here.
yeah. Wow, really, really great stuff. And what a great thing to bring in and learn from, John. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, so let's see. That was Moby's. Vinny, let's see. Who you have here? Got Rob and Malek, and Rob and Malek are not in either of them.
Yeah, they're not in. But I thought Malek he had a couple of really good trades, and
Okay,
we can go through, I guess, one of his real quick. I know he's not in the room, but I
sure.
mean, I can be quick on this because, um, yeah, that one.
Which
Yeah,
one?
that's good.
This one?
Is that the one? No, it'll be not that one. The middle one. I'm sorry.
This one.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to highlight Malik's here. He has a YouTube channel that I listen to, and I'll tell you something, Malik. He goes through step by step on his YouTube exhaustion, exhaustion, icebergs. I mean, it's just amazing how he's so thorough in his analysis that that I think is very educational, and he knows the Wykoff distribution, the Wykoff strategy as well. And here's just another example of it that he has, and I'll go through this real quick. Yeah, so he has this Wykoff distribution structure up above over here, and the number one is a breakout over there. So it breaks out from the structure, and I believe he entered there at number one, which for me, I might have waited until the breakout at number two and then the pullback. So he did much better on his entry and his total points, which was just terrific because he's really in tune with his structure, and he followed it straight down all the way down until the liquidity. Now he uses an R3, and I'm not really familiar with R3. I think Valley Fan may know a little bit about that, and maybe if he's on, and if he does, maybe he can just tell us a little bit about that R3. I think some of the other traders in the room use that as well. And if he can just ask a little bit, he can provide us maybe some insight about or you too, Bruce, what that R3 means. But otherwise, I thought this was just a fabulous setup and trade using the Wyckoff structure and follow through. And yeah, so this is an example that maybe some of the other traders can keep an eye on. Yeah, is Valdifon around?
Yeah, he is, and I'm so sorry, Vale.
Hey, what's going on?
I didn't mean to. I forgot about you after I had that one more comment on John's trade. So sorry about that.
Oh no, I mean oh no, I do have a comment on John's trade, and I think I understand what his order flow event stuff he's talking about. It's because it's when I'm taking a trade around a cam, it's not just selling or buying at that level, it's a big seller or a big buyer making themselves known and giving the confidence then to take that trade to know, okay, now I have the possibility to get my move that I'm looking for, but I need a big buyer or a big seller, somebody that really hits the tape, really hits Bookmap hard, and actually presents themselves and say, hey, I'm here. So to get kind of give me that confluence along with other things that I'm looking for to go through the checklist.
Yeah.
But Malik, um, so R3 is a place where you look for selling and then you look for a seller. And you're kind of looking for like the great white shark of a seller, not just kind of something institutional coming in and small that may just create a pullback. I mean, you're looking for something big to come in and bite and really show that they have the power, to stop this trade that's going long and make it fade some or make it reverse, or to really come in and react or make price action react for the way that you're looking for. So R3 is just it's an area that you look for selling and when you're trying to reverse. And it's only really in play on certain types of days where you're also looking kind of for a continuation over the long-term trend. So it's a lot of other things that do go into it. But R3 is a great level if you're looking for a seller.
Okay. Um,
Grab this bag.
anything else, Valley? Did you want to go over, or like I don't know if you kind of use Wykoff as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. You definitely look for that kind of Wyckoff
Okay.
distribution up there. I mean, that's definitely something. That's when I talk about, I want multiple tests, a retest, and if it doesn't give me the signal, then I may want two more tests. That kind of goes through the process, and that does get into that Wyckoff distribution. I want to see that distribution happening. On something like this that I'm looking to go short. R3, it's selling, so it's at R3. Well, what else? Well, I need a new 1 minute low, and I need a big seller to come in. I need to make themselves known, and that kind of gets into that distribution part of it, where you have a big buyer and a strong move up. So you need some sort of area of distribution and consolidation. Well, they go back and forth before that seller can really take that position to overwhelm that buyer.
Yeah. Nice. Something that I really like in here as well is he let the structure break, and then he's looking for a pullback, and it is a low volume pullback. And in fact, Vinny, this is you said you took the same trade, so I'm not sure where you got in, but there's something nice in here in terms of volume. Here's pretty heavy volume relative to all of this back and forth up in here, and then this is there's a lot going on in the chart. Let me try to make this a little bit. This will help. Okay, so here's our big volume on the way down, and then here's our pullback here. There's actually a little one here, and then it does it again, but the pullback back up to here, just above this little swing here, is, look at the volume down here. You can see the divergence, right? It's on low volume. And this is high volume here. So this is looking pretty good because you got some structure in here too. It doesn't come all the way up to this structure here, but it does come to this structure here, which it looks like this is the open. So this is a test below the open, retest, and then follow through. And he waited for it. I really like that. So that's my only comment. Vinny, I don't know, anything else, or Valley fan, or John, if you...
Yeah, well, none for me. But if John and Valley fan are finished with their comments, we can move on to Malik's second one, if you would like.
Okay. John, I don't know if there's something you got.
Well, I agreed with what you said. I just think that it's hard to see what you were talking about, Bruce, with all the dotted lines,
Mm,
because none of them are referenced. So I don't know what they are or really what they do. In my work, I plot the two standard deviation bands off of VWAP just to give me an idea about where we are in the spectrum of things.
mm.
Um, and it's kind of like a Bollinger Band. You want to pay attention when those dotted lines, when those two standard deviation bands are violated, uh, or or prices break out beyond those. Other than that, you're just within the normal distribution of data. So I don't know, and it's I don't know. I just think it adds more of a disadvantage than an advantage because none of them are referenced, none of them are annotated. So you have a nice structure in there. You break down, you come back up, you fail, and you go short. Um, and that's all. I just think the chart could be better with less stuff on it. But the precept to everything is wonderful. It's a great, very consistent trade for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Just my taste. I just
Yeah, I think it's a really really good comment, John. In fact, if we go back to hold on a minute here, just bear with me for a second. We go back to our when we started off here about building your confidence, or I'm sorry, building your confidence through your high quality setups, and having these things in your plan, and then also in your checklist. This is something from Slowdown that he did, back in 2023, and his original markup is like this here. He's marking up. He's got all sorts of stuff on his chart. And then here's a few months later, he's now looking at very specific things. He's taken this and honed it down to, like, yeah, these are the things that kind of gel with me, and then he's taking this into a chart like this, and he knows exactly what he's looking for. He's got a setup. He's even got the little and I will make these for you guys as well for the setups, but the supply and demand setups. But he's got his little diagram in here. He knows exactly what he's looking for, and it matches perfectly with the chart below. So now he's an expert in the way that he trades. So Malik, perhaps, it's really good feedback there, and you got a lot of stuff on your chart. And the feedback is maybe just, look at your kind of big rectangle up here. You identified Wykoff. You also have time of day in here. It looks like, to me, I can't really see it, but to me this looks like time of day. And then you've got a break of this really big structure in here on high volume, and it's a pretty big break. And then the pullback is on low volume. So you can really kind of own that. You can take a lot of these lines off the chart. You can take a lot of other things that might be distracting for you. Maybe you want to look at volume delta dots, delta bars as well, and just some suggestions. But and then take it to the next level for your setup. Let's see. Vinny or Valley Fan.
I'm sorry. Yeah. The bottom one. Valley Fan. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm good. I was seeing, I didn't see exactly where the R3 on this, but looking at the distribution up there, I just want to point out that there's specific things you're looking for, especially when you're watching those kind of things form. And then also on the other side, knowing that, like, when that structure's broken, and then just to move on to get to something else.
Yeah, good one. Thanks, Vinny. So you want to go over the next one here?
Yeah. I think that might be a little filtered out regarding yours and John's comments, and yeah, though that was some excellent feedback, and I'm sure Malik would Definitely appreciate. And here's just another example of what we talked about: a break and a retest. Same setup. Pretty much passive orders are absorbed on the way up, hits a liquid resistance, and develops a little bit of a consolidation, and then we have a breakdown of the support and a pullback once again right to which is new resistance, and we just had the follow through all the way down to there was a liquid target down there for about 8 points, and there's the R3 level that Valley Fan had talked about earlier. But once again, he really knows. Seemed like he really knows his stuff with icebergs, absorption, and more so during his actual trade management on his YouTube channel. But otherwise, yes, same trade, same thing, same structure, pretty much. A breakdown, a pullback, and a follow through. And a great entry point would be right at the resistance level with your stop just above. So this would be a good reward to risk ratio. And tossing it back to Valley Fund.
Hey, sorry, I don't know if the connection gets bad through here sometimes. Yeah, I mean, I always look at these, and the pullback entry always is just to me too late. I'm always wanting to get in there up at the top. That's kind of what I've been trying to focusing a lot of my trades on, and especially showing some things on there when I didn't take an entry, just because it didn't hit everything in the checklist, and it just goes past my level, and it just didn't give me any indication that I wanted to take an entry. But I still like that entry up there at the top, especially on that second test after that large bubble, and then that second test is right out there outside the box. I wonder what the VPA on the chart looked like on that one. It might have been a really good setup.
Hey, Valley Pond, that's a good comment you made, because when I was listening to his video, that's what he was talking about. He was taking his trades up where you were talking about, but he was getting stopped out a number of times. And so that was my question to him for this this chart. He was getting stopped out quite a bit. Did he have a confirmation of his entry? I believe he said, his entry was he didn't have a confirmation, so he was taking the trade and getting stopped out. So that is why I went ahead and mentioned the breakout, which would be a more of an edge, at least for me anyway. But you make some valid points.
Yeah, I mean, but it takes a lot of getting used to and seeing the right things, and it's still an order flow event. I mean, I'm still looking for not just like selling, not just buying. It has to be a big seller or a big buyer, someone aggressive that is showing and presenting themselves. And I have to see that, especially when I get that new 1 minute high or new 1 minute low. I want to see that hit the tape hard. And I want to see something come on Bookmap and push price. That seller or that buyer is actually affecting price action. And then on multiple tests, and that sometimes those other buyers or sellers on the other side, they can't keep up anymore, and then it kind of just takes over, and you start getting your trade.
Fair enough. Good one. Yeah.
It does. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of seat time to try to dial it in. But I'm gonna try to focus on it more still.
All right. Terrific. How about John? Is it all right? Bruce BX John.
I don't know. Let me think about it.
John,
John, please jump in there.
I concur. No, I don't have anything to add. I really don't. That low volume retracement, wonderful. Right up to what is now resistance and down clearly to liquidity. 8 points. Yes, you can make a living off of that. All you have to do is wait for it. Yep.
Yeah.
Don't change a thing.
Yeah, beauty. So just something that I was just thinking about here that is something that kind of resonated with me, and I put it in a lot of the videos for that course on supply and demand. And it's just so simple, and there's no real indicators behind it. And it maybe can be a good guide for people is measured moves. This one is actually doing it. You've got kind of a move or a zone here, and then you can kind of measure another one down here that's equal to it after it breaks it and then pulls back here. Why I mention this is trying to let things run, but also look at your liquidity to match with your measured move. Because if this is, the distribution and then you get your markdown, likely you're going to get something pretty close to your measured move. And it might go further, it might go less. But what might be helpful is to then just match it up with high liquidity. Where is the high liquidity, and does it match my target? In this case, maybe it's his, deviation lines, but or something else. Just some thoughts there on looking for targets. Yeah, no, that's it. So let's see here. Trader HE, Mike M, and David, the blood sniffer. No one else is in here, so none of those guys. Since it's kind of a little thin tonight, and I was thinking maybe we'd cut it a little bit short, if you guys are okay with that. But I don't know. Steven, DNT, CMJ, Duzman. A lot of you guys, like I think Duzman, I think you've been posting lately, so put it in your spreadsheet. This is why we go over like some of the same guys again and again, is because they're marking up their charts and putting it in their spreadsheets, and building out their playbook. You did post, Stephen. Okay, all right. Well, we'll go over you next time, and because I don't have anything right now lined up. But anyway, yeah, let's we'll call it a day, I think, and that's that for tonight. I don't know. Anything else you guys wanted to mention or cover?
In Bookmap, there's an option where it will print the date when you take a snapshot. I think that would be helpful if traders did that when they post a chart. You never see it on your chart when you're working on it. It's only when you take a snapshot. But it would let the group know from what time frame you're working locally. I mean, I think you asked a couple of times in here, Bruce, is this East Coast, West Coast? Where
Yeah.
are you? It takes a little bit of space at the top center of the chart, and it just defines the time frame from where the chart was taken. I think that would be helpful moving forward.
Okay. Yeah, good comment. So let's see here. I think you're talking about the screenshot tool. Which you can post right away into like Twitter or X or Facebook if you like as well.
Yeah. But it's in one of the settings. I took a snapshot of it, Bruce.
Yeah,
in Bookmap that allows you to, and it sets it right in there for you, the time in which the snapshot was taken.
Yeah, I can't find it in the knowledge base at the moment. Well,
I will put it into the room. I took a snapshot of it.
Okay.
And I'll put it into the room.
Okay.
But like I said, you never see it on your chart, only when you take a snapshot. But it just prints the date in which you took it, and it tells you what time frame you're in, so that everyone would know where that is.
Yeah.
I've got it here somewhere.
Oh yeah. I think there's a I think Stephen mentioned hit Control S.
Yeah, Control S for the I think the screenshot.
Yeah, that'll take the screenshot, but this is an option where Bookmap is actually going to put the date at the top, and
It'll
the
actually
time,
put the date in there. Okay.
and the zone. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, because I see the date and time with that Control S. But then obviously there may be another way to do
There's
that.
another
So,
area
good
there
point.
where that's always going to send that up there, and it's only going to exist when you print it out. And it's just real nice to be able to know, the time, because you're always looking. Oh, gee whiz, what time was this?
Yeah.
And that would solve that.
Yeah. That's Yeah, I'll cover it tomorrow. I've
Okay.
closed Bookmap, so
So did I. Yeah, I'm running a backup, so I can't show you, but I,
exactly.
I,
Um,
I,
so
I
so
it,
we can go over it tomorrow.
okay.
And what was I going to say? The Oh, regarding your comment, John. I mean, like, guys, I think we want to, we're kind of developing this way, and from the this chart over here, and from slowdown that he did, and you know, this kind of journaling here with this list here. It The goal here is to put this into playbooks for yourself, and now you have something to go back into and look at your trades and your markups and your journaling, and your setup. So, like for example, Shark earlier, he's taken this trade, million times, this oversold volume pressure imbalance and market pulse, as well as CVD, and then exiting on the same one over and over again. Though, when you start having that playbook and you've got it marked up, you've really got something, and that's part of the Bookmap Academy here. So we're not just doing this to, so you can post in Twitter or X or in Discord here, and show it to everybody, and we'll cover it, and then it's forgotten. This is for you building out your playbook, right? So, and in the end, you'll have something really strong, and you'll have your checklist. This is a training, and top-down approach here, and you should have something really strong that you can lean on and make money. So that's what we're all here for. So any other comments, guys?
I just posted that into the room, Bruce. It's under general configuration, and it says screenshot timestamp position, and you can define where you want it, or you can disable it. So that's where that's done.
Okay. In this chat room here.
I put it in the all markets, Bruce.
Okay, got you. Right.
Where I can.
Okay, yeah. Here it is. It's in the configurations, like you said.
Yep.
So general configurations, and then your screenshot here. This is great. Yeah, and I think we've had this for a long time. Something Sergey, our CTO, had put together. Anyway, yeah, great stuff. Thank you, John. All right, guys. I think that's it. That rounds it out. We'll wrap it up. We'll call it a day, and we will catch up with you guys tomorrow in the All Markets webinar, and then next Thursday for the Bookmap Academy. Yeah. So
Terrific.
yeah, take us out, Vinny.
Okay. Well, yes, thank you everybody for being here today. I learned so much from each and every one of you, and keep up the good work. Bruce, thanks again for your leadership, and let's rock and roll for tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.